friends, today I'm going to solve LeetCode problem number 1491, average salary excluding the minimum and maximum salary. So here in this problem we are given a unique integer array salary, and each salary in that array is a salary of ith employee, and we need to return the average of all the employees salary except the salary which is maximum and the minimum. All right, so let's look at the constraints first. The length of the salary is at least 3, which means that there is at least one minimum salary, at least one maximum salary, and both of them are different, and at least one salary which is not minimum and maximum. All right, and the salary ranges from 1000 to 10 to the power 6, so our average will at least be 1000, and all the integers of the salary are unique. All right, so now we have these constraints. Let's look at this example here. So we have 4 different salaries here, and out of these, which are the maximum and minimum? Well, 4000 is the maximum and 1000 is the minimum, so we would exclude these two, right? And then we'll only take the average of 3000 and 2000, so the sum is equals to 5000, and average of 5000 would be equals to 2500. Because we are only taking 2 salaries, we divide 5000 by 2. Okay, so that is what we are doing. Divide by 2, and that gives us 2500. Here in this case we only have 3 salaries, right? And all the values are unique, as always it's always unique. So there is a unique value which is minimum, a different value which is maximum, and a value which is neither minimum nor maximum. Okay, so since this is just one value, so we just divide 2000 by 1, which is equals to the same value, and that's our average. So this is how we are going to solve our problem. So what are we going to do is now we must first of all find out what's the maximum and what's the minimum value, right? So for that, what are we going to do? Let's see. Let's just look at our intuitive approach. Okay, so to find minimum, what do? We assign a minimum value to some value, right? Some higher value, or we could just assign minimum to one of the values in the salary. So we'll just assign it to the first element. So let us assign minimum to 4000. all right, so now our minimum value is equals to 4000. Now what we do is we iterate over all of the salaries. So now since we know minimum is 4000, we will iterate with next value. Okay, that is equals to 3000, and we compare the value of minimum with 3000, where 3000 is less than 4000, right? And minimum should be a minimum value, so we take the minimum of 4000 and 3000, so that would be 3000. So we update the value of minimum. Now it's equals to 3000. Now we compare it with the next value, which is 1000, and we know that 1000 is less than the current value of minimum, so we update the value of minimum. Now it's 1000. Next we compare it with the next value, which is 2000, and we know that the current value of minimum, which is 1000, is less than 2000, so we don't do anything. And finally we are able to compare it with all the values, right? Now similarly, to find max, we are going to do the same thing. So we assign a value to max, so I'm just going to assign the first value from the array. Now we compare it with the next value, that is 3000, and since 3000 is less than the current value of max, we are not going to change anything. Same with 1000, it's less, so we don't update our max. And next, same with 2000 as well, it's less than 4000, so we don't update max. Now let's suppose there was a value 5000 here, then 5000 would be greater than the current value of max, right? So we would update the max to 5000, but since there is no such value, we just don't update it at all. And in this way we'll find our max and min. And now next, what we need to find an average, we need the sum, right? So what we do is we take the sum of all of the values, so that would be 4000 plus 3000 plus 1000 plus 2000, and from that we'll deduct minimum and maximum, right? So we took the value of 4000 plus 3000 plus 1000 plus 2000. Okay, and then we deduct it from here, minimum and max value. So while we deduct mean and max value, we know that minimum is equals to 1000 and max is equals to 4000. So the remaining sum we have is equals to 3000 plus 2000, right, which is equals to 5000. So since we only have we have the value 5000, now we need to take the average, right? So for average we have to divide 5000 by the number of elements we are taking the average of, right? So we could either count the number of elements by counting the number of values we are taking the sum of, but instead of that, what are we going to do is we take the length of the salary, which is equals to 4. So from that length we deduct 2. Why are we deducting 2? Because we are deducting minimum and maximum, right? We are not taking the sum of these two values. Since we deducted these two values, we are left with the rest of the values, right, which are not minimum, which are not maximum. So that is what we are going to do. So here the length is equals to 4 minus 2 is equals to 2 itself, right? So that gives us our value, which is 2500. So that is how we are going to solve this problem. All right, now in this example I showed that we first calculated mean. After calculating mean, we found the max, and then we found the sum, right? But we are going to do all of this in just one for loop. So let me show you how. So we are going to create a mean variable where we are going to store our mean. So I'm just going to assign mean to the first element of salary. All right, that is equals to 0. Now let max val equals to salary first element, and then now let sum is equals to 0. Initially sum will be is equals to 0. Or what we could do is we could assign the sum also the first element. Now the for loop will start from the second element, which is from index I. So let I equals to 1, I is less than the length of the salary. Okay, so let n equals to salary dot length. All right, so we could just use n here and I plus plus. Now here what are we going to do is we are going to compare to update our mean value. So if mean value is greater than the current salary, then we are going to update mean value, right? Because mean value should always be less, it should be the least value. So if it is greater than the current one, then we are just going to update it with the current one. All right, salary I, same with max val. If max value is less than the salary of index I, then we are going to update max val with salary at index I. And now to the sum we just add salary at index I. All right, so that way sum plus equals to, so that way we have added all the values to our sum. Okay, now here we are going to take the average, right? So from the sum we are going to deduct mean val and max value, right? All right, now we have deducted it. Now we need our average. So for average we take the sum, we divide it by n minus 2. That is, n is the length of the salary minus 2. Okay, so that will be our result. So now let's try to run our code and see if it works. Okay, something went wrong here. Okay. Awesome. Now let's try to submit this. Great. So talking about the time complexity of this solution, since we are using a for loop which iterates over all of the elements in our salary array, and since the length of the salary is n, that would be O of n time complexity, and the space complexity would be constant because we are not using any arrays or any data structure which increases with increase in the size of the salary. Okay, so yeah, that was all about this solution. Let me know your feedbacks or any questions you have in the comment section below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel.